Well, who would have thought that something that looks like a PG-13 Lifetime movie would turn out to be such a grim horror show? Today we're going to be talking about Hatching. This is a bizarre Finnish movie, and I knew it was going to be bizarre once I heard that it was Finnish, because there was another Finnish movie that I've seen called Bunny the Killer Thing, which Ted and I talked about a while back, about this guy that runs this like a Friday the 13th style movie, but a guy that runs around in a bunny outfit with a giant schlong flopping around all over the place, which is, yeah, the Finnish do make some strange movies. Anyways, Hatching. This movie turned out much differently than I expected it to. When I saw the trailers for this movie, I knew there was going to be like a bird puppet in it. I knew there's about a girl that raises a bird, and it's like a weird kind of freakish looking bird puppet. And I thought the bird may go out and like attack a couple people for her, or I thought the bird might turn on somebody like toward the end, or but it looked very like the trailers made it look like sort of like a standard PG-13 kind of horror movie where they're going to shy away from the gore. But I was surprised to see something very different. So this movie is about a girl that raises a giant bird puppet and things go out of control. What happens is there's like a raven. I think it's a raven because if you ever stand underneath a tree and they make that sound like, it's like a predator noise. It's like that almost. Like those like frog toys that you get, where those like wooden frog toys that you get where you rub them against something and it makes like a croaking noise. It's like a croaking noise kind of thing that this or those birds make, but it makes that noise. It flies in through the window. The mom picks it up, and the daughter thinks that she's going to save the bird. The mom just like snaps its neck and goes, "Go on, put that dead bird in the organic waste." So the girl takes the dead bird out, puts it in the organic waste bin, and then she goes back to check on it, and the bird's not there anymore, and she hears a weird sound. She goes into the forest, and the bird's still alive. It's flown out of the organic waste bin. It's in the forest now, and it's struggling, and it's making noises like it's suffering. So the girl picks up a rock, bashes its head to put it out of its misery, and she finds an egg underneath it. She takes the egg back home and sort of takes care of the egg, incubates it. It sort of reminds me a little bit of Game of Thrones, like a dragon gonna come out of this thing, because like Daenerys raised those dragons, those baby dragons in Game of Thrones, and then they turn out to be temperamental teenagers. But I thought that's kind of what this was going to be like, but it turned out to be different. So the egg hatches, and this freakish bird puppet comes out, and the bird puppet, it reminds me of something along the lines of like that Jim Henson would make, except more grotesque. You remember like the movie Labyrinth, where Hoggle in that movie had all the boils on his face? So this bird is grotesque looking, and the bird puppet is almost as big as the girl, if not bigger than her. And it starts doing weird shit. Like the bird puppet, this girl's shy, and she's got like kind of like a weird family life. The mom is banging like Fabio the plumber. It's this guy who's like, by Fabio I mean it's like this good-looking guy who's in the area that the mom is in love with. And the mom is very nonchalant about having an affair with him too. She's like, well, your dad's your dad, but this guy here, Fabio the plumber, Thor, whatever his name is. Thor the handyman / Fabio plumber, like you would see in the beginning of a porn. I am in love with him. So your dad's your dad. That's the thing that they got going on. But, the handyman guy that I'm banging, I'm in love with him. So then the daughter's like, okay, mom. And the mom's just like, you want to support my happiness, right? And the daughter's like, oh, I guess, yeah. So the daughter's she's got a weird family life, and her brothers keep bothering her. Her brother's kind of a brat, tells on her all the time. So the girl's kind of isolated, and she's a gymnast, and her mom's like a show mom, wants her to be perfect and everything. The girl sort of focuses all of her attention on this bird puppet. But then, weird stuff starts happening. Bird puppet, when it comes out, it's like a little baby, so it's like the girl's like the mom raising the little baby. And the bird's very attached to her, and then the bird does, what birds do. Like, they go out and kill things and chew them up in their mouths and regurgitate them into the baby bird's mouth. So that's what this bird puppet does, with the neighborhood dog. So one day the girl comes back home, bird puppet's there, and neighborhood dog's got its head cut off, and the bird puppet regurgitates the vomited remains Well, the dog's missing a head, so bird puppet must have eaten some of that dog's head, and then she vomits it into the girl's mouth. I'm like, oh, this is a very unusual kind of setup for a movie, or this is a very unusual turn this movie's taken. And then the girl goes out and she buys like bird seed and stuff, chews that up, and then vomits it into the bird's mouth. So they're trading like vomit food with one another, and parents are going in the room like, this smells. What the hell's going on? And then something even weirder happens. The bird puppet starts to turn into a version of the girl. So it starts turning this weird, freakish, like bird human creature, but it becomes more and more human. So eventually it turns into an actual clone of the girl, which I thought was cool to see. But also, like, I missed the bird puppet because the bird puppet was so awesome. The work they did on this bird puppet was fantastic. And I just wanted to see like this bird puppet all the time. It was so freaking cool. And the scenes were like the birds eating vomit and vomiting into the girl's mouth, and the girl vomiting into the bird's mouth. I mean, that's disgusting and everything, but the bird puppet was so damn cool looking. So it was a shame to I'm sure the bird puppet was, like you hear about puppets, I'm sure that it was quite a chore. But I mean, it was just awesome. Whoever did the work, whoever made this bird puppet, because they were freaking awesome. It's like a Jim Henson bird puppet, like a Jim Henson puppet on acid. But it was fantastic. So, anyways, check this movie. If you want to be thrown a curveball, this is what I would recommend this movie for. If you're a puppet connoisseur like I am, puppet horror connoisseur like I am, definitely check it out. If you want to play a prank on someone or just have a good laugh, show this to somebody that thinks it's going to be like the standard Lifetime movie. Say, yes, I found this movie that's right up your alley. And it looks like a Lifetime movie, so at the beginning of it, they're going to be confused, and they're going to think it's like one of those Lifetime kind of movies. And then they will be totally revolted to see they're a grotesque creep show that it turns out to be. So anyway, so that'll be fun to get some entertainment out of seeing people's reactions on that. This movie goes farther than I thought it would. So anyways, it was a nice little surprise. Check it out. It's on Hulu right now. That's where I saw it. Okay, well, that's it for this week. Hope you have a good rest of your week. And until next time, stay on the road. Keep clear of the moors.